All right. Getting those audio levels back up so people can actually hear us.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hello, the world. I hope everyone's having a great day today. Today is a very special day. I'm going to be talking with the man behind Super Meat Boy himself, Tommy Refenes. How are you doing today, Tommy?
I'm pretty good, but my last name is pronounced Refenes.
Refenes? God damn. That was my biggest
strike
fear.
one.
That's
That's
strike one. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you get some jabs in it. Refenes?
Yeah, Refenes. It's literally the whitest way to pronounce it. Like, take everything cultural out of it and just pronounce it exactly the way it's spelled, and then you have Refenes.
No, I was like, how do I pronounce that? So I actually looked up, like, interviews with you because I didn't want to get it wrong. And, like, everybody went Refenes.
Yeah, everybody goes Refenes, and it's always been that way. It's happened so many times throughout my entire life that it doesn't bother me. It bothers my wife a whole bunch, which is hilarious.
That makes.
She's like, oh, our kid, he's never gonna have a last name that can be pronounced. And I'm like, I didn't either, and it's fine. It's not a big deal.
It kind of sounds like ravenous in a sense.
Yeah. I've been called Refenes, Renferez. Somebody put an extra R in there before.
That's fancy.
Refenes. I don't know where they get the long I sound. Refenes. There's also Refenes, like penis. Yeah, all kinds. I've had like 4 people get it right the first time, and 2 of them have been people when I'm getting on a plane. Like, I hand my ticket and they say, "Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Refenes," and I'm like, "What? You just said it right." And they're like, just get on the plane.
Get on the plane.
Yeah.
So, before I embarrass myself anymore, we're just gonna jump right into this because Fossil Bro in chat says hyped, but I think he meant to say hashtag hyped because that's what the kids say.
Oh, yeah, they do. The children nowadays speak only in hashtags with their praise and outrage.
Yep. And their complacency as well. That's when you get the hashtag blank space.
Yeah. Hashtag nothing.
Hashtag nothing.
Hashtag lament.
Ooh. Word of the day right there. I like it. I like it. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about what kind of got you into making games? Where did the passion for gaming start?
Well, I was born in 1981. And in 1986, I think the Nintendo came out, and then I got one in 1988. And as child growing up in the 80s and 90s, that was like the beginning and arguably the golden age of video games, right around like Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 time. And yeah, it was just a big part of my life growing up. Just playing video games, and then like having ideas to make other games and like drawing them with my friend John. Like, we were like, something we obsessed over a lot was how Super Nintendo and Genesis were rivals, and we didn't like that. Like, we just thought it would be awesome if everybody just got along, and if there was a why can't Sonic be on Super Nintendo, and why can't Mario be on Genesis, that kind of stuff. Also, we were obsessed with Battletoads.
Oh, wow.
So we would just, what if Sonic and Battletoads, that kind of kid stuff. But I actually started learning to program when I was about 11. My dad taught me like some QBasic stuff, and I learned how to draw lines on the screen. And I think my first attempt at a game was when I was like 12 or 13, and what I wanted to do was it was like a shooter game, but I never made any gameplay because I was just messing around with like drawing circles and stuff to the screen. And this wasn't like, when I say circles and stuff to the screen, I literally mean just circles and stuff, because the computer I had, it had think it was an EGA monitor, which was black and green.
Right.
And so I would just draw green circles, and I learned how to do like the little, you could make the speaker make little sounds, and you could do little tones, and like, so all I made, my first game was a game called Target, and all it was a thing that made concentric circles into a target, and then it goes, and that's it. That was first game. And yeah, that game made me a couple $1 million right there, because you know everybody's played that.
It's all about the circles.
Yes, people were blown away by my circles. But yeah, so I always had an interest in programming, and then went into high school and learned stuff like Pascal and more basic. I don't even remember what basic was. I want to say it wasn't Visual Basic. It was some Mac Basic or whatever, and then Pascal and C++. And I went to college for computer engineering,
Right.
and I was going to do computer engineering and physics, but I never got far enough in college to do all those things, because I dropped out like two years in because it was stupid and I hated it. But during college, I was always working on web stuff, and I was very early on Newgrounds, like around 1999 or so.
Oh, wow.
Before Newgrounds was like giant. Like, I remember before there was even a portal. If anybody's familiar with Newgrounds, they have like the portal that everybody submits their stuff to.
Yeah.
Before that existed, there was just a list that Tom Folk curated, and that's where my stuff went, and the other handful of people that were on Newgrounds at the time. And Newgrounds sort of blew up, but yeah, like during that time, I learned Flash, and I made like little animations. I made some games. I made a game that I called Bitch Hunt, and what it was I was watching 2020 one day, because, you know, as a college student, you watch 2020. It was like the only thing on TV.
It gets the ladies.
Yeah, and there was this story of this girl who ran a website. The website was called goosehead.com, and she had a web series. And like the 2020 story was about how her stepdad gave her like $250,000 to start this thing. And I was an angsty like 19-year-old, I think it was about 19. And I was like, fuck that, man. I wish I had $250,000 for my website. So I made a game. Yeah, I made a game where it was basically Duck Hunt, and with a duck body, her head on a duck body would float around, fly around, and you would shoot it. And then when it would fall into the grass, I would pop up, me, holding her upside down, and then just drop her into a wood chipper.
Wow.
And yeah, that was Bitch Hunt. Well, as soon as I put that up on Newgrounds, I get a call from the stepdad. And he's like, hi, we're going to sue you if you don't take this down. I'm like, I'm 19, like North Carolina kid, 19. Like, yep. And this is 1999. Or no,
so,
yeah.
So what are they going to get out of you?
Yeah, but I was terrified. I was don't worry.
I can see.
I will take it down. Don't worry. And the guy's like, awesome. So do you want a job? And I was like, wait, what? so yeah, I got a job doing like their web stuff, and there I learned more database stuff and PHP stuff, and did some more Flash stuff for them. And that was right near the end of my college career, and like they were just paying me like a monthly little contract rate.
Right.
And it was near the end of my college year, and I had dropped out, and I moved back to where my parents lived, which was Western North Carolina. I was in NC State, which is Eastern North Carolina. Moved back to Western North Carolina and got a job at a web firm. And at the web firm, I just did more of the stuff that I did on Goosehead, but more like a lot crazier stuff. Like I wrote like the first, like there's like sites like Zillow and Redfin. Yeah, like those run off of a thing. It's a concept in real estate. It's called broker reciprocity. And what it is all like your Remax and your Coldwell Banker and everything, they can list everybody else's listings and everybody can kind of get commission off everybody else's stuff.
Huh.
And that was a kind of new concept in like the 2000s or so. I don't know if it was a new concept or if the internet was making it more like, oh wow, this extends beyond like newspaper ads and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know which it was, but I wrote one of the first things that integrated all of the local MLS databases. Like everything that's on a real estate site has an MLS number.
Yep.
It integrated. I wrote all these things that took all these databases and smashed them all together into one that was searchable, and we would sell that to the real estate companies in the area. And yeah, I wrote all that, and I really enjoyed doing that. But I eventually left that job and then started another job where I was doing educational stuff. And I found that I was working a whole bunch. Like I would do my day job, and then at night I would do contract work. Like, and at the time I was doing contract work for like NASCAR and Duraflame, like, and I was making really, really good money. I was like 22 or 23 at this time. And like I had a house, I had a nice car, but I was like, what do I do in my spare time? And I'm like, well, I work. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, what's spare time?
Yeah, there was no spare time. Like I had relationships and stuff, but I didn't really have a hobby. And in the back of my mind, I had always wanted to do video game stuff because, it was, even through all of this talking, I was still playing games and loving games and stuff. And there was an article in Electronic Gaming Monthly that was, it was about the game that would become Twilight Princess. This was before it was called Twilight Princess. And they had a big like preview of the game, like huge preview of the game. And they had one little side thing that was like, it was about the fishing game, like the fishing mini game. And in the article, and I have the article framed, in the article, it's like this programmer made the entire fishing mini game in his spare time because he loved fishing. And I was like, wow, look what he does in his spare time. And what do I do? And then I look over and I'm like, there's a database open for like Duraflame. And I'm like, ugh, God. So a friend of mine around that time had just got an industry job in Amsterdam, and they were looking for a network programmer.
Right.
And I was like, I bet I could figure that out. So I interviewed with them, and I ended up getting the job. I sold my house and my car and everything, and I moved to Amsterdam, where I worked in the industry for 10 months at a really, really abusive company. And I ended up quitting that. And after I quit that one, I was like, I'm not working for anybody again, and I'm going to make video games. And I started one game that didn't go anywhere, and then I quit that game and then made Super Meat Boy. And the rest is history, sort of.
The rest is historic meat.
Yeah, it is histories.
So speaking of Super Meat Boy, so let's dive into that. I know I asked you at PAX East, I was like, why did you make Super Meat Boy? You were like, I want something different and I want something difficult, I believe. That might have been paraphrasing.
Yeah.
So from like idea conception to releasing it on the shelves, what was that like? What was the journey of Super Meat Boy?
Well, so the way it sort of came about was in my industry job, I worked. I did stuff with early Xbox 360 hardware. Like there were 3 or 4 versions of the dev kit. I think there were 3 versions, like alpha, beta, and then the final. Yeah, it was 3 versions, alpha, beta, and then the final one. I had all 3 of those. So I was really familiar with like the Xbox 360 hardware and like programming on it, because during my industry job, I started out as network programmer, and then I started doing their render stuff and render optimizations, and then just like porting the engine over to the 360 from like the Xbox code. So I had like a really good working knowledge of how the 360 works, what it's like to program on it. And after I got back, I did that. The one game I did was called Goo, not World of Goo, but just Goo, and it was like a liquid simulator stuff. But it wasn't going anywhere, and I was actually friends with Edmund from Newgrounds way back in the day, and we got to talking, and he was like, "Do you want to?" He had made the Meat Boy game with John McKenty on Newgrounds, and he was like, I think I want to do this on WiiWare. Do you think you can program something on WiiWare? And I'm like, sure, I can figure anything out. so that kind of came about, and then we were making it for WiiWare, and Xbox Live Arcade had just sort of started the year prior, and we wanted to get on Xbox Live Arcade, and not started, like it became big the year before, because the game I was working on in the industry job was going to be on Xbox Live Arcade.
Right.
Before it was called something else back then. But before like Braid and Castle Crashers came about, like those were the ones that like propelled it into like everyone's attention. Like before that, I was working on stuff. So yeah, we were working on Super Meat Boy for WiiWare, and we were trying to get Microsoft's attention, and we ended up getting their attention and putting it on Xbox 360. But the entire time, and the thing that I liked about that first Meat Boy, the one on Newgrounds, was it was a difficult platformer. Yeah. And it was at a time where a lot of play. Well, number one, there weren't a ton of indie games. Like there were very, very few. So the only games you would get are the AAA games. And it doesn't make a lot of financial sense, or at least it didn't at the time, for a AAA game to make something very, very complicated or difficult, because, let's say they spend $300,000 on the last cutscene for the game. It's dumb if nobody gets to see that cutscene, right?
Yeah.
Like it's dumb if only a percentage, like a small percentage of everybody that paid $60 for the game can't get through the game. Because a lot of the value implied in a game is being able to experience it all the way through.
Yeah, and
that's what a lot of companies looked at. And that was around the time when Mario Brothers had the Super Guide. There wasn't a lot of difficult stuff out there. Like the games that I had grown up with, like the Mega Mans and the Mario 3s and stuff like that, they were all dumbed down. Like they were not challenging, and Meat Boy was refreshing to me. Like the little Flash game, I was like, this is hard. And then when we started making Super Meat Boy, and we decided to take it from the little levels with the black lines on the center, I was like, let's just make giant levels, and let's just go all out. Because like originally that game, and like that's kind of a common thing with pretty much anything I work on, and I think anything that anybody works on that they feel really passionate about is it grows in scope. Like originally Super Meat Boy was going to be like 3 chapters, and it's like 7, and it was going to be, there was no dark world, there were no bosses, there were no replays, it was going to be a very basic game. But I just watched Scarface again last night. We pushed it to the limit, if you will.
To the limit. I like that. Oh, man,
yeah,
I gotta rewatch that too.
It's actually not a great movie.
No, it's good for nostalgia though.
It is good for nostalgia. It's basically Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the movie.
Yeah.
Is like all of the sets, every part of it is Vice City.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a difficult game, and like the scope grew, and like just sort of believed in it, and had to field a lot of criticism from different people about like, oh, it just looks like a shitty Flash game. From high ups.
Haters though.
Yeah. I mean, haters gonna hate.
It's what they do.
And this whole, I forgot what I was saying. I'm thinking about Scarface. But yeah, like it grew in scope, and we made something that people weren't really used to, and like we had high ups at different places say, oh, the game's too hard, it's going to be a very niche game, and like all those people had to kind of eat crow a little bit, because the game sold millions of copies and people really love it. So like people love a challenge, and like I can't sit here and think that the challenge of Meat Boy inspired challenging games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and stuff. Like I can't sit here and actually think that, because as many copies as the game has sold, I know there are tons of people that don't know about it, but it seemed oddly coincidental, I will say, that right around the time that we put out a really hard game that a lot of people enjoyed, other places are like, let's make something hard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was just the natural progression of video games at the time and we just happened to be right place at the right time, or if we influenced that, but whatever it was, we were one of the first really hard games after a long time of just walk your ass through the game, you know?
Yeah, no, I remember that time period well. So
yeah,
that's why I was a big fan of Super Meat Boy. I was like, oh, I can't just power through this.
Yeah, you can't just power. Like when I would play it, like while we were in development, like I didn't know how the game was going to do. Right. I didn't know. I couldn't. In my wildest dreams, it didn't do as well as it actually did. Like it did way better than I ever imagined. Like I couldn't imagine that I would be sitting here almost 8 years after its release and still making money off of it. Like I did not imagine that at all.
And you're about to have another Super Meat Boy title as well.
This is true. This is very true.
So,
because I need more money.
I need more money.
Everybody needs more money, but that's if money was the driving thing. There are easier ways to make money, and I will tell you some of the easier ways to make money. Pornographic websites.
Yes.
Yeah,
who pays for those though?
We all do when we go there, and like
sense
advertising.
That's
advertising is a black box. It is so strange to me, but I understand what it's for.
Yeah.
Like the reason PewDiePie makes like what $12 million a year or whatever.
Don't say that. That hurts.
Yeah, I know. The reason he does is because of advertising. Like
that makes sense.
But you sit there and you go, who is watching that advertising? And it's like, well, like 12-year-old kids are watching that advertising.
Yeah, they don't know what ad block yet is.
Yeah, they don't know what ad block is, and even if they do, like stuff still gets through, and like, yeah, but like the loot boxes. That's a way to make money. That's a very easy way to make money.
Did you just hear about what Belgium did?
Yeah, I saw that they made that illegal.
Yeah, because
awesome.
It's gambling. Oh, I'm so happy
it is
about
gambling.
That. It is 100%.
Yeah, another way to make a lot of money: online gambling. Your DraftKings and stuff like that.
Oh, God.
That's an easy way to make money.
Or lose it.
Not the driving factor.
Fossil Bro in the chat has a question for you. Why didn't you name Super Meat Boy Forever Superman Meat?
Superman Meat?
Seems like a missed opportunity, I have to say.
That sounds terrible. I did a tweet the other day that I regretted not naming it something, but I don't remember what the tweet was. Now I have to look it up.
It's okay. While you do that, I'm going to take this opportunity.
I will,
hey, chat, if you have any #lit, #hype questions you want to ask Tommy, well, Fossil Bro used those too, so I'm going to go with that. Let's just type them in chat. I'll ask them on air. If they're decent questions, none of this.
Yeah, if they're shitty questions, I just won't answer them. So
if it's like, what was your childhood dream job? Everyone wanted to be an astronaut. Okay.
I actually did. I wanted to be.
Called it.
I wanted to work at NASA.
Did you want to go to the moon, or did you want to be like technical guys?
I wanted to be technical guy. I didn't want to be astronaut. I wanted to be. That was part of the reason behind the physics, like starting the physics in school. By the way, the name was a better name for Meat Boy is Live Free or Die Meat Boy.
Oh yeah, I remember that tweet.
Yeah,
I like that because I live in New Hampshire.
I regret not calling it that. I regret not calling it because that's so good.
Right? And I live in New Hampshire, and our state motto is "Live free or die."
Oh yeah, live free or die. Yeah.
So I'll take that any day of the week. I'm gonna call that now.
Yeah, I don't know what Washington's is. It's probably something like "Welcome to Amazon."
It rains here.
Yeah, it rains here. Welcome to Seattle. It rains.
It rains. Always rains. So you were in a movie once, and we don't have to linger on this if you don't want to. I'm sure you get asked about this a lot.
I don't mind.
So Indie Game the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit I still haven't seen all of it. I watched your part though.
That's fine.
So, what was that experience like? Did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? Like what kind of happened?
They reached out to me. They were doing some sort of small little videos for the Canadian government, and they wanted to expand it or something. And I think Alec Holoka, BAFTA IGF winner Alec Holoka, was like, you should talk to this Tommy guy. And they talked to me, and apparently I'm nice to talk to sometimes. So
you are pretty nice to talk to. I'll give you a solid 5 out of 7.
Wow, nice. That's a perfect score.
It is a perfect score.
But yeah, they're like, we're doing this documentary. Do you want to be in it? And I'm like, sure, whatever. Because, I was just like, it'll be press or something. Yeah. Because it was another one of those things where I was like, I didn't see the movie until it was finished. So I had no idea what they were doing.
Oh, see, that would make me so nervous.
Well, like, I didn't think about it. Like,
Oh, you just kind of let slip from, like, memory?
That's their biggest strength in all of that was they disappeared. Like, they were around and they were filming, but I was never really conscious of them filming, even though I knew they were there. I knew they were there. Like, all of those moments in the movie where they're not, like, I'm not in front of a camera and like talking to them.
You barely notice them.
Yeah, there is a shot, and it is the grossest, my most favorite shot in the entire movie. But I'm in the kitchen talking to my mom. Right. I think it was my mom and my dad on the phone, and there's a shot of my toes. And Lisanne, she was there filming. I don't remember her getting on my kitchen floor and pointing a camera at my toes, but she did. I don't remember this. I remember her being there. I remember her being in the apartment. I don't remember her wallowing around on the ground looking at my toes through a Canon 70D. I don't remember this.
I don't know how you could not remember that.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's why I really feel like the movie is good, not because we necessarily have like compelling stories to tell. Right. It's how they presented those stories and how they captured those stories. Like, the strength of that movie is in how they edited it and how they presented it to everybody. Like, I feel they could have done that movie with just about anybody, and it would have been just as impactful and just as amazing. Like, our stories are cool, but there's a lot of stories like ours, and I just feel, I feel super lucky that I was a part of something like that, because, like, how nuts is it to be in a movie that's on Netflix, and like I got to go to Sundance and premiere the movie. Like, ooh. Never thought I'd get to do that.
Look at you, that's basically red carpet right there.
It was. I have my picture in front of a wall with a bunch of sponsorships on it. Like, it's insane. I'm also trying to bite my sister's face in it because, that's what you do on those. You got to look fancy.
Yeah, it's what you do.
But yeah, my only complaint, and it really sucks, is because from a storytelling standpoint, my character introduction is terrible. Because, like, I say something along the lines of, I don't want to make a game like Call of Duty or this or that because I don't play shit games. And I hate that.
Shots fired.
I hate that so much because...
So you kind of came off a little aggressive.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of context behind that, all right?
Right.
Because you have to do a lot of takes for answering the question. And that was during a really, really stressful time. And I did not put my thoughts together in a very nice
Co-
manner
like
because
a polite manner.
yeah, like I hate that because what it makes me seem like is this douchebag asshole that only plays indie games and shits all over AAA games. And like that ain't me. Like
Right.
I almost exclusively play AAA games because I don't have time and I want to play things that I know I will enjoy. So
Right.
stuff like Fallout and Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, those are the games I get lost in. Like I don't I play games for fun. I don't play them for like research or anything. And like for me, yeah, I really hated that because and then the other side of the coin is even though there's like when Gears of War came out, I did not like Gears of War as a game, but I stared at that game a lot to try to figure out how they were rendering the things that they did and how they
Right.
did it. Like I stared at it and I studied it in that way, and like I'm very I can recognize when people and programmers and stuff do stuff that's amazing, like stuff in your Call of Duties and your Halos. Even though I may not appreciate the gameplay, and the reason I don't like the gameplay in those is because I fucking suck at them. Like I'm terrible at first-person
I
shooters.
know that feeling.
So yeah, like I cannot. I don't like playing with a mouse and keyboard. I like playing on my couch, and you can't really be a good you have to have a certain amount of dedication to be really, really good at a first person shooter to the point where you can be competitive with a joystick. Like it's the guys with the mouse and the keyboard are always wrecking everybody else.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like that is my only gripe with that movie is I wish they wouldn't have used that as my character introduction because it paints me throughout like no matter what it shows me as like a guy with a viewpoint that doesn't match up with a lot of other things like
Right. And first
and
impressions are important.
yeah, they're very important and just in a storytelling thing like you wouldn't take your main character who you want to be sympathetic towards and watch him stomp a rabbit like in the first couple of minutes like
It
that's not
worked
a
in
good
Of
way
Mice
to
and Men.
introduce what's that
It worked in Of Mice and Men.
right true
Oh, he
true
didn't stomp it though. I think he squeezed it.
I think he just squeezed it yeah I
Either
think he
way,
just
either way, Of Mice and Men is not why we're here.
Well,
Um,
squeezing an animal and it dying is different than stomping on an animal. Like there's like aggression versus just
accidental. Yeah.
loving it too hard.
Petting the rabbits.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the rabbits.
Yeah.
We do have a question in the I keep wanting to say comments because I'm so used to YouTube. In the
Oh, in
chat.
the YouTube.
I have no idea how to pronounce that. Naj Sama. Oh god, I'm butchering everyone's name today. We'll just go with that though. Do you think games nowadays have only a chance to survive the long road thanks to the usual lightning in a bottle luck? Or is it more of a mathematical thing where if you bunch a whole lot of designers in a room and make a mega game, you can get the same type of luck, such as things like PUBG, League of Legends, etc., etc.?
Well, I would argue luck has almost nothing to do with success, other than the luck of not dying, right?
Right.
Um,
And
and
even then,
and
that
I
takes skill.
yeah, I maintain this because even though as I was playing Meat Boy before it came out, I knew it would do like I didn't know it was going to do the 4 million copies that it's done. I didn't know that. In my wildest dreams I wouldn't have thought that. But I still knew it was a good game. And as somebody who's played games their entire life, if I think something is a good game, chances are it is going to do well. Like that's just what it is. Like there's a lot of there's a thing I really don't agree with, and it happens a lot in the indie scene, and it is the constant shift of blame away from the game for the game not succeeding. People will blame Steam, they will blame this, they will blame that, and while it is unquestionably harder to be successful in game development, the fundamentals are still the same. You
Right.
have to make a game that is appealing to people. You have to make a game that people are going to talk about.
You have to know your audience.
Yeah, you have to know your audience. You have to make something compelling. You can't just shit out a game in Unity and just be like, oh, okay, here it goes. Like, that's not a thing. Like, yeah. And the biggest example of this recently is Cuphead. Like, if you think about Cuphead, Cuphead is Contra. There is nothing really new about Cuphead. There is not.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
However, that game garnered the attention that it did because it looks fantastic. Yep. And the reason it looks fantastic is because I think I read it in an article, there are 13,000 frames of animation, hand-drawn animation in that, and it looks like a fucking cartoon. Yeah. Like, they didn't accidentally stumble across that. Like, they weren't like, oh, whoops, I fell. Here's an art style.
Here's a masterpiece.
Yeah, like, yeah, oops. Like, Picasso didn't fall down and paint some fucked up faces. Like, he did something that people talked about and people, related to and liked. Like the even PUBG. PUBG is not luck. PUBG is, they made Hunger Games into a fucking video game, which is like something that people have wanted to do for a very long time.
Yeah. And like, there was even a mod beforehand that the creator of PUBG worked on.
Yeah.
And it was a free-for-all. So
yeah, like the idea that luck plays into some things, but it is not the thing that makes or breaks you. Like, right. It just that is false. And people that want to rely on that are doing themselves, and they're doing themselves a disservice because they're not taking responsibility for the mistakes they may have made, and they're doing the disservice to games like Cuphead that went the extra mile. And they went the extra mile and they sold 2 million copies in 2 months. Like, yeah. And
even I bought a copy.
Yeah, like, I can see why. Like, I can clear as day see why that game is successful. If it would have had crappy animations, wouldn't have been anything, because it's nothing more. It's nothing more than Contra. And it's nothing more than a Contra boss rush. And that's totally fine that it's that. But they made it into something compelling. And like, the games that succeed are games that are compelling. Like, that's the movies that succeed. That's everything that succeeds. It's things that people want. It's not just, oh, looks like they won the lottery. Like, it doesn't. Right. Like, even to something that may seem luck-based, like Flappy Bird, is not luck-based.
Don't get started.
Yeah, that game presented a challenge to people that they talked about.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got to try this. You got to try to get past this.
It was so simple, too.
Yes, that's not luck. Like, he may have stumbled across something compelling, but at the end of the day, it wasn't that, oops, like, uh-oh, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time on the App Store and the game blew up. No, the game blew up because it had something to it that made people want to talk about it and made people want to play it.
It was easy to pick up, super competitive, and really hard to get right.
Yeah, exactly. And like, that's, I really don't like that, game designers and game developers have to take responsibility for their successes and their failures. Like, you have to. And yes, you can say that it is harder to make it. Like, it definitely is. Steam is releasing, I believe, 200 games a day or something like that. It is a ridiculous amount.
That is.
And that does make the market more crowded. But, I can walk into a grocery store and I can pick up an apple that I like, even though the grocery store is filled with a whole bunch of other shit. Right? Like, it doesn't matter how crowded the marketplace is. If like, there are so many different types of cereals.
That's true.
You can buy a billion different types of cereals, different sizes, different amounts of sugar in them, but Cheerios still does well. Because it's Cheerios.
It's got that brand name.
It's got a brand name and it tastes good and people like the way it tastes. Like, yeah. This luck isn't as big as a factor as you might think. Like,
no, it makes sense.
Work, dedication, persistence. Yes, those are all. Yeah, that's the key there. You can't just throw a bunch of designers in a room and shit out something.
I don't know. I think that's how Fortnite was made.
But even Fortnite,
That's true.
I mean,
All right.
there's something compelling about it. I actually haven't played any of them. I'm scared to play PUBG because I know I'll be terrible at it. And it seems like there's a lot of time in between matches. So I feel like I would start up a match. I would
Yep.
wait. I'd parachute in. I'd maybe get to run around for like 3 or 4 minutes.
And then you get
And
clocked.
then I would be like trying to figure something out, like opening a door or something. And then someone would shoot me and that would be the game.
That's me during Fortnite. Or,
Yeah.
not Fortnite, PUBG. Fortnite,
Yeah.
it's a lot better because the matches are a lot quicker and the wait time's a lot shorter.
Yeah. Like
So there's more accessibility. But, getting a little off top. That was a good answer to that question, though. So I completely forgot how long this was supposed to be, so we're just gonna run with it.
Yeah, we'll
Speaking
just
of
run
running,
with it.
Super Meat Boy Forever auto run. Let's
Correct.
talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, there's a lot of I don't know if it's concern or armchair design. I'll say it's concern because a lot of people they feel vested in Super Meat Boy because for a lot of people, Super Meat Boy was like their introduction into the world of indie gaming and smaller games. It's weird because I could have done a Super Meat Boy 2 that just would have been the same game with levels.
Yep.
And I actually don't think it would have. I think it would have done fine. Like financially, I think it would have done great. It would not have had the impact that the first one did. And I don't know if any game I make will have the impact of the first one. But I didn't want to do that because that's not fun to me.
No.
You know, I joked earlier about money. You know, I'm making a new Meat Boy because I want money. And I would be lying if I said I didn't want money.
Oh, money's always a factor. That's how you
I
manage a
definitely
business.
do want money. Yeah, I'm going to be a dad in like 3 months. And,
congratulations.
Thank you. I want to make sure this kid has every opportunity that he can. And in order to do that, I need money. So.
Is that who Nugget's inspired by?
Yes and no. So Nugget was actually written and thought about way before we were pregnant.
There's the little meat family.
Yeah.
Going.
The idea was, my wife and I had talked about having children. We've always talked about having children, and
right.
You know, it was kind of one of those things where my view on children has always been, and my wife was very much aware of this. You know, if she wants to have kids, great. If she doesn't want to have kids, great. Like, I don't feel strongly one way or another.
Yeah,
like,
so either way.
Yeah, so if she came to me and had said, I don't want to have kids, I may have been a tiny bit disappointed, but I would have been like, all right, cool. Yeah. Like, yeah. So, but as we got, you know, older and have been married for a little while, she started wanting children more and more. And I was kind of like, I was warming up to it, of course, because like I said, I wasn't strongly one way or another, so I could very easily be tipped either way. And Nugget was actually because I wanted to expand the Meat Boy story. I didn't want Bandage Girl to be the thing that was captured.
Makes sense.
Because I wanted Meat Boy and Bandage Girl's relationship to be more like my relationship with my wife.
Right.
Because the things that I do and the things that I write, they have to be grounded in some sort of reality that I'm in touch with.
Yeah, it has to be human in some way.
Yeah, and even like if Shannon were kidnapped tomorrow, I would feel very sorry for the world because I would burn this entire place to the ground to find her. But I didn't want that to be a thing. Like, I didn't want that to be a thing. And I wanted the characters to grow. And it had been 8 years since the first game. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to model this after my life. And I'm going to give him a kid. And that's basically where it came from. And then I wrote Nugget, I think it was it was right when I started back on Meat Boy Forever. So it was like January 2017, and we didn't get pregnant until I think it was October or November. I think it was November of 2017. So it was way before, but the seed was there. The idea of we're going to
Quite
have a kid.
literally.
Like it was going to happen one way or another. Like if we couldn't conceive somehow, it was going to be adoption. Like we're going to adopt our second kid. We've already decided on that. So it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I really think subconsciously Nugget was like me getting ready. And it's going to sound super stupid and corny, but it was like me getting ready to face the reality of having a child. And honestly, it's really fun to write Nugget and Dr. Fetus together because they are exact opposites.
Yep.
Like
One's
where
a
Dr.
bundle of
Fetus
joy,
is
one's
just sort
just
of a dick.
Yeah.
Nugget is pure joy. Like she's always laughing. She's always doing.
Oh, so Nugget's a girl. All right.
Yeah, Nugget is a girl. Yes.
heard it here
I'm
first,
actually
guys.
having a boy. Yeah, I'm having a boy. My actual son is he has male parts. So
Right.
you know.
As most boys do.
Yeah, as
Although
most boys,
2018, it's
it's whatever. I mean,
yeah, it's all gravy.
If he comes out and he wants to be a girl, that's fine.
Power to him.
I don't care as long as he's not an asshole. That's all I care about.
Right.
The only thing he can't be is an asshole.
That's can't go shitting on Call of Duty in any documentaries.
Yeah, yeah, he can't be in a movie where he shits on Halo. He can't do that.
Oh man. So
But yeah, so with Forever, I didn't want to do the exact same game again, and I had prototyped a one-button Meat Boy back in 2011, in the with the idea that we would make a small, like a little tiny, like 3 levels, 3 chapters, like each chapter had 3 levels in it, kind of thing.
Yep.
Like it was an idea to just put something out there and move on to the next thing. Just as a thing, because people wanted Meat Boy on their phones, and I'll be fucked if I'm going to put a Twitch platformer on your phone where you have to control your movement and everything. I'll be fucked if I do that.
Yeah.
Because like my whole thing is how a game feels and how a game controls.
Right.
Like that's kind of what I'm known for. And yeah, I didn't want to do the game disservice. So I was like, well, this is a problem, and being a guy that likes solving problems, I'm like, I can solve this problem. I can make a game that feels like Meat Boy where it's just one button, because most of the time in Meat Boy you're just running anyway.
Yeah.
Like the thing that matters the most is your timing of your jumps. Like
Yep.
I can subtract one dimension of movement out of that and still give you a similar experience. And in my prototypes, I found that was correct. And that was in 2011. Really couldn't work on it again until 2014. And Edmund and I worked on it for about 3 months, and we showed that build at PAX West 2014. That's when we revealed it. And then we didn't work on it again. And then I ended up being able to work on it in 2017 without Edmund, and hired a whole new team and everything. And as I was playing that prototype, and I was playing the prototype, and I'm like, this game has potential. Like I can do more than I can do more with this than I'm currently doing. And again, as a designer problem solver guy, I'm like, I'm just going to make this into a full sequel, and it's going to be awesome because it's going to have randomly generated levels, and I'm going to make a big giant story, and this will be fun. And so far it's great.
It was fun when I played it.
Yeah, it's different, but it is the same. Like,
Autorun adds an extra little bit of flavor to it too.
Yes, it does. Like I obviously I play it all the time, and I honestly feel like this is a good game. I feel in some ways it's actually better than the first one, because I love the first one. I love the first one more than anybody else, because not only did I make it, but I get all the money from it. So right. I definitely love it more than anybody else in the world. So, but I think, and I with how the movement works in this, with your dives and your punches and the movement tech that you can do and the different mechanics that we have in the levels, I feel this game is deeper than the first Meat Boy. And I know a lot of, there are obviously and understandably people that are put off by the auto run aspect of it, but I gotta say, you need to give it a chance because number one, I'm not gonna make a Meat Boy game that's shitty,
Right.
and number two, I obsess over controls and movement. Like I hate games that don't move the way I expect them to. I will stop playing a game if it does. I love Shadow of the Colossus, and I suffer through Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
I tried to play Last Guardian, and I couldn't fucking stand it because of the goddamn camera.
My man.
I got through. I played it on stream the day it came out, and it's probably on my Twitch channel. You can see how frustrated I got, and then at one point I'm just like, I'm not doing this anymore, and I quit. And it was like after 5 hours into the game, because I wanted to love it. I wanted to see them kill that dog bird thing. I wanted to see that, but
is that how that ends?
Cry.
I didn't get far enough to know how that game ends.
Yeah, I actually don't know if that's how it ends. I assume because it's a Team Ico game, and they love making you cry. So.
Another question just came in from Fossil Bro. I skipped one of his because you answered it earlier, but he asked another one, so now I feel obligated.
Let's hear it.
So, World 1 in Super Meat Boy Forever is like the forest, and World 2 kind of seems like the hospital. Is this going to be a thing for all the worlds, i.e. World 3 is like the salt factory?
Nope.
Ooh, nice.
Nope. I wanted to start you off with something familiar, and while the forest is very much like the forest and like mechanic-wise, the forest is very similar. Mechanic-wise in the clinic, which I don't even know if we're going to name it the clinic. We might name it something else because we have cooler names for everything else.
That's fair.
Mechanically, it is different. And then the third world is called it's called Tetanus City.
It
is not. Yeah, it is not.
Sounds painful.
Yeah, it's not Salt Factory, and the mechanics are there. There are similar mechanics, but the mechanics that it does share with the Salt Factory from the original. There are more new mechanics than that. So, yeah, like. You have to give something a little familiar, and it actually plays into the story. Like it'll make sense.
Right.
It'll make all kinds of sense. But yeah, it's not all of the other levels, all of the other chapters reskinned. Like the first two we've shown are similar. The rest are not. Not even in look. They don't look like anything from the first game.
That's fair, because even when I was playing the demo, I was getting really mad because I was bragging about my skills playing on mouse and keyboard, and then I couldn't beat one part. And I was like, oh, god damn it. So I forgot to bring that up, but yeah, no, I noticed that too. So good observation there, Fossil Bro. So now I'm going to ask you a series of rapid-fire questions.
Let's do it.
Lightning round stuff. Sneaked in here are some sneaky questions.
Let's do them.
So, all right. Meat-related questions is called. Bratwurst or sausage?
I think sausage. I don't like the way bratwurst taste. I like smoked sausage.
Ooh, that does sound good. Hamburger or cheeseburger?
Oh, cheeseburger. Why the fuck would you not put...
I don't know. Some people don't, man.
Some people are savages.
I know. Well, some people are vegans.
That's true, too.
Best fast food restaurant to get a burger?
Oh, man. So it's In-N-Out, number one. But I don't live near In-N-Out, so it's actually a place called Burger Master near me.
Burger Master. All right.
Yeah.
What kind of meat is Meat Boy made out of?
He just has no skin, so he's made out of Meat Boy.
Does he have a skeleton?
Sure.
Oh, Jesus, that's terrifying.
Isn't it?
Is Bandage Girl made of clean bandages?
Well, I mean, some of them are clean.
That's fair.
The ones around her butthole are not clean.
Oh,
Yeah.
That would make sense. Is Nugget more bandage or more meat?
She is 50-50.
Nice, the way it should be. So
Yeah.
that's not a costume around here. That's like just bandages.
Well, I mean, let's not dive too deep into the.
Okay.
She's
All right.
she's a little meat guy, a little meat girl, in a onesie made of bandages.
I'm into it. I'm into it.
But how's that onesie get made? Do they have stores in Meat Boy Land?
I
don't
thought you
know.
just said not to get too deep into the lore.
Yeah, let's not, because those are the questions you have to start answering at that point.
Do you guys have a like Meat Boy lore writer, or do you guys take it amongst yourselves?
I'm
That's
the
not
dude.
on this list.
I am the dude. I write all the things.
I kind of want to help. I don't know why.
You can write the
I'm
fan
intrigued.
fiction.
Ooh, little
Yeah.
Meat Boy
Erotic-
fan fiction.
Erotic Meat Boy fan fiction.
And he thrusted his. All right, I'm not going into it.
I actually, for my wife's birthday, like 2 years ago, I wrote her some erotic Harry Potter fan fiction. Yeah, it was called Hermione Granger and the Knight's Kiss.
Oh my god, that's so edgy.
Yeah,
It's
it was
so
good. She said it was good.
Oh
Says,
wow.
First erotic fan fiction I've ever written. So if this whole video game stuff doesn't work out,
We know where to find you, the Harry Potter fan club.
yes. All right, Harry Potter erotic fan fiction for a living.
Why is Dr. Fetus so mad?
Inadequacy issues, like,
I mean, he's still
You know.
got time though.
does he? I mean, look at him.
That's fair. I was gonna ask how he got to be in the jar, but I didn't want to get too dark for this interview.
That's pretty deep lore there. I say he's just always been in the jar.
That's fair.
He's like an elder god.
I was gonna say
all
test tube, baby.
all of these, yeah, every character in Meat Boy is basically like a celestial elder god in the Marvel universe.
Ooh,
Yeah, they've just always been.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Possible release date.
This year, but not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon, but this year.
Yeah.
Favorite snack.
I have been partial to, I think it's called Smart Popped white cheddar popcorn.
Oh, like smart food.
No, it's called. It comes in like a black bag. It's just popcorn, and it's white cheddar popcorn, and it's fucking delicious. I had like a whole bunch of it before I came down to this interview. So
Ooh. Oh, you came all the way down. Oh,
I came all the way down my 8 stairs. So
Ooh, fancy.
yeah,
I feel special now.
yeah, I was up 8 stairs.
Ooh, impressive. How long is Super Meat Boy Forever gonna be?
I believe it is going to be. Well, I don't believe. I know it is going to be larger than the first game.
Oh, you just answered the next question.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. Like to put it into perspective, just from a content standpoint, which this both means something and it doesn't. There are more levels because every level is made up of smaller levels, and each one of those small levels is about the size of a small Super Meat Boy level.
Yeah.
There are more levels in Super Meat Boy Forever in the first chapter than there are in the entirety of the first game.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and there's 6 chapters in Forever. So there's a lot of fucking levels. Like at the end of the day, there will probably be around 7,200 chunks, like little tiny levels.
And
that
they can
generate-
mix and match any which way on any playthrough, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of like we're swinging for the fucking fences.
So if that's the case, this isn't on the list, but that's an interesting answer. So follow up, does that mean that things like bandages are no longer going to be in the game where we would try to collect them?
Like there are secrets. There are there's not bandages because Bandage Girl left those as a trail. So
Right.
there's something different this time, and it's not pacifiers if that's what you're.
Is it chicken nuggets?
Oh my God! Now it is the boot-shaped one exclusively.
That's the only one worth making.
Yeah, the other one just I don't like the circle chicken nugget
No, I don't trust
because
them.
no, it's too fake.
It is.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll give the chat a cookie if they know why those chicken nuggets are shaped like boots. Do you know, Tommy?
Why are they shaped like this? I don't remember. I know I've read this somewhere.
I'll give the chat until the end of the lightning questions to
Yeah.
figure it out. Favorite hobby that's not gaming?
Huh. It's weird because I really don't have hobbies, but I guess if I had to name a thing that I enjoy doing, stocks.
Stocks, you say?
Yeah, I like stock speculation stuff because it's basically gambling, but educated guess gambling.
That's fair.
Yeah,
So would you say that's more luck or skill based?
that is definitely skill based. There is some luck to it again, but nobody accidentally buys a stock and then it rockets up 1,000%. Like,
Fair enough.
you know,
Apples or oranges?
I don't know. I think oranges, but it depends on the orange. I like the little mandarins.
Would you invest in stocks of those mandarin oranges?
I have not delved into commodities exchange with oranges and produce, but I might. I might one day.
Well, see, this interview, it's giving you life goals to strive for.
Yeah, I'm gonna quit this and be a professional
Produce
Harry
investor.
Potter erotic fan fiction writer that trades Mandarin orange futures exclusively.
Day trader for
Yeah,
mandarin
yeah, exactly.
What platforms will Super Meat Boy forever be on?
All of the consoles and Steam.
How about mobile?
Eventually mobile. I just don't know. It won't be at launch.
That does seem a little trickier.
Yeah, because this is a game that is going to cost the typical indie game cost.
So what does that mean? 20 to 40?
No. I would say less than
What you cut out?
less than or equal to 20, greater than 10, less than or equal to 20.
Oh, that's a steal.
Yeah, no, it is like, and the reason, like, Meat Boy is still 15, but it's been 15 for 8 years. So if you adjust that for inflation, it's actually around 1750.
Yeah,
and Forever is bigger, so and everybody's charging like $20 for games now.
Yeah, PAX, I saw that a lot. I saw a lot of unpolished games selling early access for like 20 to 30.
Yeah, for like $20.
And it's
I'm like, to me, I'm fine with it because video games are the only industry where inflation doesn't matter. Right. Games have been $60 since 2000 or since 1992. Been $60 for the last 26 years. Like, that's insane. Like, yeah, you can't. I mean, you can get mad at the larger places for charging DLC and blah blah blah, but you can only get mad knowing that they haven't raised their prices in almost 30 years. So
that's fair. I do remember when you could buy a PS2 game for $20 though. Although I was such a youngin' that I didn't have to pay for them. So
yeah, I remember trying to buy Final Fight on Super NES, and it was $65.
Final Fight for 65.
Yeah, for $65. Like, and this was in 1993.
Ooh,
yeah, $65 in today's money is $120 some dollars.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, games are cheap at $60. That's considering fair. Where they used to be.
Last question. Will there be a demo for Super Meat Boy Forever?
Probably not, because those are a pain in the ass to make and maintain. And the only reason we did one for Xbox Live Arcade is because that was part of the deal of being on Xbox Live Arcade.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so probably not.
So you guys couldn't just like take the PAX East demo and ship it out?
We could, but why would I do that?
Because I really want to play it again.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, so that is the end of the lightning round questions.
Sweet.
Our nugget themed question was, why are chicken nuggets shaped like boots? Do you have an answer?
I do not have an answer.
All right, Fossil Bro answered. He got it wrong though. He said they're nugget shaped. I mean, they're nuggets, so that's how they're gonna shape anyway. Because McDonald's wants to have the same cooking times for the nuggets each time they cook it, but that is wrong. The reason it's a boot is so you have a little handhold while you dip it in sauce.
Is that legitimate?
That's what I was told when I was making those at McDonald's.
Well, then why do they have the circle ones?
At McDonald's they don't.
They have circle ones at McDonald's.
I've never gotten the circle ones.
Really?
Yeah.
I've gotten circle
The ones near my house are always Burger King. I usually, whenever I get chicken nuggets, they're the circle ones. But
I haven't had a chicken nugget. I love chicken nuggets, but I also saw that video of the pink stuff.
We don't talk about the pink stuff.
Yeah. But every time I'm like, I'll eat some chicken nuggets, like that, just like Vietnam flashback, in my head, like lightning and screaming and stuff. So.
Vietnam flashback.
Yeah, I can't. I can't bring myself to eat them anymore. Also, they're just terrible for you in general.
Oh, absolutely. Well, so are hot dogs, but.
Yeah, that's true. But they're so good. Like
they are. Oh my god.
McDonald's chicken nuggets are fucking delicious, and it makes me so mad that they are.
You just have to get drunk enough not to care. That's all it is.
Basically, that's life, though. You just have to get drunk enough not to care.
It's not the 50s, okay? We can't just give that advice. So, that's really all I have, unless you have some fun facts you want to go wild with.
No, I don't really have any fun facts.
How was your PAX East?
It was pretty good. We got a lot of press, a lot of amazing positive press.
The Saturday you were back to back.
Oh yeah, oh man, I had 39 press appointments at PAX, and they all showed up except for one.
See, so I didn't get that email until I was like halfway to Boston.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good, and yeah, it was a fun show. They all are like they can be exhausting because you're just basically talking for 4 days straight.
Oh yeah, like I didn't have a voice after it was over.
I'm lucky I don't lose my voice, and I also don't get sick. So
there you go.
I'm really there's where luck comes in. Well, I guess it's not even luck. I just have a really good immune system, which is genetics, which I guess is luck. So yeah, there's your luck.
Yeah,
not getting sick at PAX.
That's all you get. That's all you get.
Yeah, that's all I get. Even though I do have diabetes, though, so I guess that's really unlucky. But I still have good luck. So
you're not getting the con flu, though. I feel like that would make the diabetes go worse.
Yeah, I've done a ton of PAXs and E3s and all these things. And I've never gotten sick after them. So.
Well, hey, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I think it's everybody leaves those and they're like, oh god. I'm like, I'm fucking fine. You guys just need to toughen up.
So that's gonna do it for us today. An hour and 10 minutes. That's about as long as I was expecting. Chat,
Sweet.
If you guys missed any of it, it's gonna be on YouTube in like a half hour. There should be a link down somewhere in the bio. I don't know what it's called. I just started Twitch. Just click the YouTube button. It'll take you there. Subscribe to it so you can be alerted and stuff. Tommy, thank you again for coming on. It was great having you.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And remember, guys, Super Meat Boy forever. 2018, yeah. Sometime this year, just not soon.
Yeah.
So, and no demo. No demo.
And no demo.
That's all you. No early access shenanigans, okay?
No, God, no.
Quality product.
Yeah, no.